Hi folks, it's Mike here with another video for you, and today we're out on something a little bit different. I'm out on Kawasaki's first hybrid motorcycle. For those of you that don't know what hybrid is, it's not a fully EV vehicle. It's got a petrol engine and a battery, and I've got a hybrid car which I love. I really enjoy driving it. So I thought I'd take out the Kawasaki and see what it's like. So the Kawasaki is able to run in 3 modes. There's full electric when it's running purely on the battery, and then there's the hybrid mode where it switches between electric and petrol, and in that mode you can also have it so it runs as full automatic transmission or manual transmission. Well, manual transmission in that you're using buttons on the left handlebar. So I've had it out for a little while this morning. First thing I found is that the gear change is a little bit abrupt when it's in automatic mode. So here we'll see we're in 5th gear now. And there's the change up into 6th, and it does need a lot of encouragement and slowing down before it decides to change down at all. So there I would have, if I was riding in manual mode, obviously been down a couple of gears before I arrived at the corner, and it doesn't change down at all. So let's see what happens when I slow for the 30 ahead. So as I roll in with the closed throttle, it's still staying in 6th. Oh, it's gone to 5th now. So it is quite keen to stay in quite a high gear. The other thing I've noticed is that unlike my car, which will happily switch between petrol mode and electric mode on the go, so as you slow down you'll drop down into electric only mode and then smoothly switch back into petrol mode. The only way I've been able to get this to really switch into electric mode is when you come to a stop, and then it goes back into electric mode for when you pull away. So I'll try and show you up here in a moment. And again, it's staying in 6th all the way through here. Even if I apply a little bit of brakes coming into that corner, it doesn't drop down a gear. So if I just find somewhere safe to stop along here. Right, so there's nothing behind me, we'll pull in here. Just come to a stop. And at that point it's now switched back into electric mode. Make sure there's nothing behind. And a little bit of throttle, and it's on electric. And then it switches straight back to petrol. And then up through the gearbox quite abruptly. So I was a little bit surprised. I was hoping to have a little bit more of the sophistication that I have with my car, where the gear changes and the switch from electric to petrol is much more subtle and much more fluid as well. So one of the advantages of the hybrid system is that this type of hybrid in any case, is that it will run in full electric mode. But again, the only way to select that on this bike that I've found is that you again have to stop and switch it into a different mode. So when we come up here, so now that we're in town, it might be the option that we want to switch to full electric. Thank this guy. So just find a space up here. Nothing behind. And pretend to be a bus. So now that I've stopped, I can switch it into electric mode. Now it's in full electric. And away we go. And now I can ride the bike in full electric mode while going through town. And unlike other electric bikes, this is using the gearbox. Other bikes like Zero and other manufacturers, full electrics, they don't have a gearbox. It just relies totally on the electric motor. Oh, come through, madam. And so it's just purely twist and go in this mode. Just trickle through town. Be mindful of the fact that we're silent now. So just watch out for any pedestrians who perhaps haven't noticed us. And it's quite uncanny when you come to stop, you're just sat here in total silence at the moment. Lots of vehicles jostling for position today. Very similar to trickling through here on my push bike. So I guess as more town centres are likely to become like London, where there's all sorts of emissions controls, then this ability to run in full electric mode when you need to could be useful. But I do find the fact you have to stop and switch modes very inconvenient. And there you can hear a down change. A bit clunky really. When in electric mode, and very smooth when it's in A gear. On and off the throttle transitions, very smooth. So what I'll do is I'll pull in just up here. Stop, and we'll switch the bike back into hybrid mode, but I'll put it into sport mode. Now in sport mode the engine runs all the time and you have to use the paddle shifts on the left handlebar. So now it's much more like a conventional motorbike, apart from the clutch and gear changes done for you by using the paddle shifts. Some really heavy rain last night. So in sport mode, unless you press the button, it's not going to change gear. So if I accelerate now, it's just going to stay in seconds unless I press the button, and up it goes. So again, like many bikes with quick shifters, it likes you to be on the throttle when you're changing up. Partial throttle is not so happy. Having the throttle open so the bike is under drive, then the quick shifter works, or this automated clutch and gear change works much better. So we're just holding fourth here. Nothing behind us. So here I'd want to change down, perhaps. And what this won't do is when I press the downshift, because I've still got the throttle open, it won't change down. So unlike a conventional bike, you can't do a rev match down change to take a lower gear. You've got to be off the throttle, press the button, and then back on the throttle again. It's a nice little nimble bike. So this is sport mode, and as I say, that in sport mode you have to use manual transmission. And this is where it struggles. Now we're in sixth and I can't change down unless I shut the throttle. Obviously if it's your bike and you had it out more often, you get used to some of these little quirks. So the little parallel twin engine is quite responsive. So this time, well, just watch them pulling out for the flood water. So here, if I'm off the gas, a little bit of brakes, then I can down change. Definitely need some practice with that. It's not like riding a conventional bike at all. So let's give this changing under closed throttle another go. So off the throttle, press the button and down it goes. So full throttle gear change is very smooth. Off the gas, down change, down change. So while this is fun, I'm not sure it's really what the purpose of the hybrid is for. So when we get further up here, I'm going to switch it back into the eco hybrid mode, but with manual transmission. Watching the vehicle behind who's got a bit of pace on. So a lot of people are concerned with these sorts of bikes where you haven't got a clutch, but you can trickle along here quite happily. No need to keep dipping and pulling, dipping and letting out the clutch all the time. Just control the bike on the throttle. So we just pull in here and change the mode. So many buttons, just to remember which one to press. Let's put us back in electric mode. Hybrids, eco and manual gear change. So at this speed I can't feel a lot of difference between eco and sport. Yeah, it's a little bit subdued from the sport mode. So I'm not going to change down manually, although I'm in manual mode, to see what the bike does. Yeah, so it resists the temptation to stall it, even though I'm deliberately trying. And it's switched into electric mode, pulls away, and then back into petrol mode. So I'm just going to enjoy this twisty bit and see how it behaves in eco mode but manual transmission. really isn't hugely different from sport mode, to be honest. I'd have to have a read of the manual to see what other differences it makes having it in eco mode. See, so here where I want to change down, I can't unless I shut the throttle. Really don't like that. So I have to say the bike is much nicer in this pseudo manual mode. The automatic implementation rushes up the box, tries to get you in a high gear as quickly as possible. The change is not that smooth, and in fact the same criticism could be levelled at the Honda NC750. Does similar sort of thing in its drive mode. It rushes up the box as well. Lots of gravel washed off the fields last night. Yeah, it's definitely not as punchy as the sport mode there. And having ridden this now, I can understand why quite a few of the reviews online, the guys are really ragging the bike quite hard, and I can understand why, because it's much more responsive. The gear changing is better, and the bike is much nicer when it's on the power. Riding it in fully automatic modes, it's definitely not as sophisticated as the implementations of hybrid technology in cars. But this is the first one that is available in a motorcycle, so I'm guessing there'll be more to come. And again, this is only a quick hour and a half ride that I've got the bike out for. If it was your own bike, you get used to some of the idiosyncrasies of it. It'd certainly be good to have it out for a whole day and see what sort of fuel economy it gets, because obviously hybrid technology is really aimed at fuel economy. If it isn't going to give you much more fuel economy than a conventional ICE engine, then is it really worth having all the extra complexity? Though I've seen plenty of reports of this is doing somewhere in the 70s and 80s miles per gallon. Although obviously you don't know how they're riding the bike at the time. So there you see it switched into electric, but only momentarily. It's my car would quite happily hold on to the electric mode for a long time. And it's not that this bike can't do it, because if I stop up here and switch it into EV mode again, which I'll do before we go through town, there's plenty of battery charge, plenty of range, no reason why it couldn't switch back into full electric mode. Oh, I thought I was going to be able to stop in the queue and change mode. Let's get through these traffic lights first. Now momentarily the bike was running on electric, even though the engine was still running. So it does do it. Let's see what happens as we trickle through the high street. So we're back to full electric. The petrol engine has started again, and it is definitely driving the bike rather than the electric motor. Yes, quite strange. Again, we're able to trickle through here quite slowly, no clutch. And it's gone into electric mode now, even though the engine's ticking over, and then it's back to driving with the motor. So it is doing it, but only sort of below 10 miles an hour. Thank you. that one came out quite a bit wide. Well, there we go. Hope you've enjoyed this little taster of the hybrid Kawasaki. Everybody will have different opinions about this sort of technology and whether it's required or not. I've enjoyed the ride. It's interesting to see how it's been implemented. As I said during the ride, not as sophisticated as it is on my car, but I would need a little bit more time out on the bike to fully try out all the modes and see what the fuel economy is like. But this is obviously a development that Kawasaki are going along, and it's likely that they're going to have other bikes with this technology on it. They're not going to just produce one bike. So it'll be interesting to see how this develops over time. So if you get a chance and your dealer has got one, get out and have a go and experience what it's like. And until next time, this is Mike saying keep safe.